Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Bridget and this is my first ever video. Now, if you were drawn to this video, if you saw it and you were drawn to it, this I feel like is a very specific message. And I know a lot of readers say that, and that doesn't take away from the fact that those messages are just as important. Spirit has a way of delivering messages to people who need them in a multitude of ways. But this message, I feel, is different in the fact that I felt very pulled to do this. Now, a little bit about myself. I started my spiritual journey about a decade ago. And I just saw 1:11 on the clock, which when I did start that journey, I saw 11:11 and 1:11 all the time. And in the past, I'd say probably a little bit before COVID happened, I felt drawn to start a YouTube channel, and every effort I've made, it has not panned out. It has not panned out. So I feel like this video is intended for people who feel like they've lived multiple lifetimes and have had a mission that they could not, for whatever reason, complete. This video is for people who feel like their voices, for whatever reason, aren't worth hearing, or are silenced, or you just don't feel like what you have to say is important. This video is for people who feel like they no longer want to pursue what their souls yearn for. And this video is for the people who feel like they want to give up. Spirit adamantly and vehemently do not want you to give up. I don't even know if I use that word right, but they don't want you to give up. So there's a lot to unpack with this video, so please be patient with me. I literally just in the last couple of weeks, well, I'd say the past month maybe, have been working really hard to try and make content to put out there. I strongly feel like this is what I'm called to do. And for one reason or another, it's been very difficult to execute this. And just recently, it kind of came to a head for me, and I had recorded some videos, one being for Vaughn and a few more, and things just kind of came to a head, and I was in a very, very low place, and decided, you know what, I think I'm done. I'm gonna pack up my oracle cards, my tarot cards, anything that reminds me of doing this. I'm done. And then normally, you know, when life tries to defeat me, I'll wallow for a minute, but then I'm fine. I bounce back. But this time it felt a little different. It really felt like I just wanted to be done. It was just easier to exist in this world without a passion. But then it occurred to me, and with the help of Spirit, that I was meant to make this video for people who are feeling the same right now. I feel like there's just it's an odd energy, because I feel like we're in this energy of moving beyond a lot of toxicity, moving more into peace and love, moving more into Jesus consciousness. But we keep getting reeled back into these very triggering and traumatic, unhealed parts of ourselves. And I think the key word here is catharsis. I think there is an epic catharsis happening for a large number of people, and I feel like that a lot of us are trying to get back to a sense of being that was robbed from us. How that happened or why that happened, I don't know. I have theories, but I couldn't say for sure. But I feel like we're trying to get back in that flow, back in that existence. And I feel like there are a lot of people out there right now who want to give up, who are just existing, who have a passion within them that they've quelled because for one reason or another, right? So this message, and it's odd because there are so many wonderful readers out there that I love to watch, and they all have positive messages, and which are fantastic. We all need those, like, you know, Charmed Intuition, Cosmic Kin, Rosology, Kino, Nordic Light, just so many good readers. That are doing wonderful things. But I feel like my purpose is to kind of tap into the not so pretty parts of this journey. And I think for myself, I've been trying to avoid this as well. And I think until we can truly sit in this this pain and honor it, we can't move forward. Now, with that being said, I also feel like for a lot of us, we have attachments. This is something I've been aware of throughout my spiritual journey, but even as a kid, I would have experiences. And I mean, all through my life, but starting early on as a kid, I would have experiences with negative entities. And I've come a long way with that, but just recently I realized I have to do a cord cutting to these negative things that are attached to me, and I feel like that's something else that a lot of people need to hear right now, that there are, if you're feeling you know, drained. Like, I've noticed every time I go to do something spiritual, I all of a sudden get tired. Now, is that because of the negative entity attached to me that is trying to prevent me from getting out this information? So I recently did a cord cutting. I did 2 of them actually, and it was interesting because the night after I did the cord cutting, I woke up and I actually felt awake. Now, I'm somebody who, it takes me a long time to wake up, and it feels like I'm not grounded in this reality or this world. So it literally takes me hours to wake up. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, and I'm not trying to instill fear in anyone, because just much like we have negative energy in the human race, in other realms there's negative energy, and those can carry over with us from previous lives or previous situations. So cord cutting is important, and I feel like for a lot of you it could be beneficial. So if you're not familiar with cord cutting, there are a lot of YouTube videos that show you how to do a cord cutting. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a negative attachment, a negative entity that is attached to you. This could be toxic relationships that you have in this lifetime, or potentially from a past lifetime, that are holding you back in one way or another. So I feel like that is something that I am supposed to share with whoever clicked on this video. And so I definitely want to stress not to give up, because the people that are watching this, you have a purpose. It doesn't have to be some grand purpose, right? Maybe your purpose is just to be happy and spread that to other people. But we can't necessarily be happy if we're in this place where we feel like we have no control. And I think that's another important thing to bring up, is that we have control. We have control over the energy that we surround ourselves with, which brings me to another point: social media. I recently withdrew myself from social media with everything that's going on, and I am Virgo ruled. I'm Virgo dominant and Pisces dominant, so I have a lot of mercurial energy, and so staying connected and knowing the news and knowing what's going on is very important to me. But it was sabotaging my mental health. And I thought it was important to stay connected, but then I realized, and this is just my journey, but I realized that I need to be in my own energy. I need to get back to my own energy, which is that of love and acceptance, so that can trickle out into the world. And I can only hope that will be the case. But I had to remove myself from social media. And it's on, I've done this a number of times. I remove myself, and then a couple days I'll go back on, but this time it's different. I haven't been back on, and I realize I don't want to go back on. I don't. So there's that. But so I think something too that a number of you might need to hear is that it's not always going to be perfect. Again, with that, and we are in Virgo season. Right on the cusp, right? Yeah. Oh no, Libra. Yeah, Libra. So we just came out of Virgo season, and Virgo energy can tend to be very perfectionist. And again, I'm Virgo dominant. So I have literally tried to start several channels, and I think right now this is not exactly how I would want this to look, and there are things that I would want to look different, but I'm realizing that's not the important thing. The important thing is getting the message out. So that might be something that some of you need to hear as well. It's not so much, I mean, I'm also Libra. I'm a Libra rising, so aesthetics it's super important to me. It's not so much about the aesthetics or having things look a certain way, which are aesthetics, but it's about the message, it's about the purpose, it's about the connection. So, okay, so I think that this is the reason that this video is happening, and like I said, this is my first video. Let's pray it makes it on YouTube. But anyway, so I decided that we would kind of look at the energies behind this, like the negative aspects to this, the shadow aspects to this. And when I was shuffling tarot, these two cards came out. So we have the Three of Swords and we have the Six of Wands. So we're gonna come out the other side victorious, but right now I feel like this is the energy right now. The Three of Swords, just a lot of heartache. I feel like a lot of us are going through like death and rebirth over and over and over and over again. Like you feel like you've done healing, major healing, and then you're good. And you're like, oh yeah, this is great, I got this. And then all of a sudden, bam, there's something else that bubbles up to the surface. And you're like, fuck, I thought I thought I was good, you know? And lately, it's even more so. It's like somebody turned the volume all the way up. And it's been very overwhelming. I watched certain readers, and I noticed there's been an influx in new readers that are coming through with new messages that are very relevant. And every one that I have watched has left me crying. And I feel like catharsis. There's just a huge catharsis happening. And I think that there are a lot of us who are hesitant to put ourselves out there, hesitant to embrace what we truly are for whatever reason. And this message has reached you because Spirit, the cosmos, the divine, they want you to embrace what you truly are. Your light is important, especially right now. Your love is important, especially now. Oof. So, okay, with that being said, authenticity, I think, is another big, very important keyword along with catharsis. Authenticity, living in your authentic truth. I feel like this is something that is really starting to become more prevalent, and that scares a lot of people, and that then can make people not want to live in their authentic truth. But the more you live in your authenticity, the more it wakes people up. So it could be difficult, but it's also for the greater good of the collective. Okay, so I had to pause for a moment because I had to blow my nose. And it paused at 002200. And so instantly I wanted to see what this number had to say. And this is what 22 says in my angel numbers book. So it says, believe you are building the life you want. So I also think that this is okay, before I get into that, I feel like this is very important to say. There are a big chunk of you that are trying to break free from a lack mindset, a victim mentality mindset, and you're trying to build a reality and a life that is more suited toward you. And you get little snippets of it, but you're not moving as quick as you want to move. But I feel like there's a reason for this, and I wish I could tell you what it is, because I'm feeling this myself. God damn, this is emotional shit. Okay, I keep hearing, you'll get there. You'll get there. Content. Be content with where you are and how far you've come already. And I feel like a big portion of the people watching this don't give themselves enough credit for how far you've come already. So give yourself enough credit and be content in the space you are now. Okay, anyway, so we will Okay, believe. You are building the life you want. Your angels are in direct communication with you. This number is a powerful message that your life is being created with their divine assistance. You are in a space of high vibrational energy right now. Repeat this mantra, I believe. I believe in myself as I grow. So I think there might, when you grow up in a lack mindset, I think there are just certain, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? What's gonna happen now, right? And I think that there needs to be a trust in the universe, and this is something I'm learning myself. There has to be a trust in the universe that there's enough for everybody. And I think this is another thing that the collective is learning in large quantities, that we don't have to work ourselves to the bone just to get by, to barely get by, and that also the universe is abundant and there is enough for everybody. So I'm hearing, don't fear, it's gonna come. Just trust. Don't fear, there's enough for everybody. Don't fear. Fear is paralysis. It stunts us from the flow of all the good things. So this heartache, I'm not going to say it's only temporary, because it's not. It's hard. Healing is hard, and it's a constant thing. But there is going to be victory. There's going to be a lot more victorious moments and a lot less heartache coming up. I like the imagery of this. It's like she's setting the bird free. Yeah. Let your fears go. Set them free. And believe. So anyway, okay. So these are, I'm using, I'll just go ahead and show you the decks that I'm using for this part of the reading, which is a bit of the shadow part of the reading. We have the Shadow Work Oracle deck. We have the Cat Gods, Goddesses, Deities, and Demons deck. The Magic of You Oracle. The Mausolea Oracle of Souls. And we have the Witch's Shadow Work Oracle. Alright, and I already drew these cards. I already shuffled and drew. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with actually, I want to start with the Shadow Work Oracle deck. And I found it very interesting, these cards that came out. So we have fearful, a learned behavior that can be unlearned. Also a low vibrating feeling that creates limitations for you and future happiness. So fear is holding a lot of people back. I mean, this is a big reason why I love social media, because the fear and the hatred is just so overwhelming, right? When we sit with ourselves and our own emotions and our own intuition, we can remove ourselves from this fear. when you take yourself away from the situation at hand and you sit with yourself, how are you feeling? What's vibrating and resonating through you? And then put that out into the world. So fear, I feel like, is something that a lot of us are learning to let go of. Manipulative, let go of wanting to exert power over someone or a situation. Do you need to work on your self-esteem? So I don't necessarily ascribe this to the people watching this. What I feel is a lot of us are moving ourselves from manipulative situations. We're becoming more aware of manipulative behavior. And we're learning that we don't have to what's the word I'm looking for? Engage with this. But for a few of you, this might have to do with learning to flow better, not forcing things out of fear, actually. So I'm hearing that. Learning to just flow. If it is meant for you, it'll happen. If it's not, I'm being heard, don't manipulate the situation out of fear, because there's something else that's trying to come through for you. Something better. Suspiciousness is a quality of distrust and disbelief. Give yourself reasons why you feel this. Okay, so with this card, I strongly feel like when good things are happening, you are suspicious. Like I was saying earlier, waiting, okay, what's gonna happen? Like, something always happens, right? But what Spirit wants you and I to know is that don't be suspicious of the good things that are happening to you. Be content with them. Enjoy them. And know that there are many, many more good things that are going to come. The other shoe isn't going to drop. It's just it just is. So yeah, it just is. There's enough to go around. There's enough happiness to go around. There's enough wealth to go around. Okay, so yeah. Catharsis, contentment. And I forget what the other word I said was, but all right. So with the Witch's Shadow Work Oracle, I got four cards, and I'm probably gonna read the insert for it. So we got the Lovers. Now I'll read the insert from the book, but for me, this is saying we have a choice. We can either stay in this fearful, low vibrational, manipulative, oh, good things can't happen to me kind of vibe. Or we can shift that into trusting the universe, trusting our intuition, trusting our passions, trusting what we're being pulled towards, trusting that it'll all work out, trusting that we'll align with the people we're meant to align with and not forcing anything. Then we have the authentic self. Yes, which I love. Like I said before, being in our authentic self not only is going to shift your reality and change your life drastically, it's going to shift the collective consciousness. The Selkie. I have no idea what this is. So I'll have to look in the book at that. And then the leader. So you're meant to lead. Your voice matters and it's important, and you're meant to lead. Not in some kind of like profound way, but you're meant to lead others to be their authentic self by being your authentic self. So we'll go ahead and I want to look. I'll read the Lover and the Selkie. So let's see here. Lover. If I can find it. Okay, 133. Actually, 133. That number might be significant for some of you. The imagined world. The Lover asks, what holds you back from healthy relationships? Wouldn't it be handy if those looking for love had access to Aphrodite's girdle? This magic accessory had the power to inspire the love of another, making the wearer irresistible to the object of their desire. Generously, Aphrodite didn't keep the useful garment to herself. She lent it to Hera, who successfully employed it to seduce Zeus. Although obviously you cannot get hold of the girdle yourself, it is useful to see it as a metaphor or a talisman. Imagine it wrapped around you. If you are seeking love, it can help with self-confidence and increase your desirability. Keep in mind a modern version of Aphrodite's girdle, the belt worn by Wonder Woman in the DC Comics. This enhanced her strength and heightened her powers. So, I'm not necessarily reading this as a love thing, like a relationship thing. I'm reading this as somebody who is standing in their authentic truth and is and is strong in self. This is what Spirit wants you guys to know, that you're stronger than you give yourself credit for. I feel like a lot of you are playing small. I'm seeing 222 on the clock right now. So, sorry, I just kind of blanked out there. There's like, So it's not, honestly, it's like a feeling, like a void right now. I'm feeling a void. Like no one will understand this void that's inside of you. But it's not a void. It's magic. I don't even know what this is, honestly. It's hard to put into words. I think the reason why you feel like other people won't understand it it's because you yourself ignore it because you don't understand it. But they're, I don't want to say special, because I feel like that makes everybody else seem like they don't have okay, you guys are tapped in. You're tapped into something that not everybody is able to tap into. And I'm not saying that spirituality can't be something that everybody can access, because that's not the case. But I'm saying that you're tapped into something magical. So maybe this is something that you guys need to hear as confirmation. A metaphorical girdle is all very well, but when it comes to choosing the right person to captivate, use your own wisdom garnered from experience. Self-sabotage in the guise of poor judgment or people-pleasing can rear its shadowy head at the start of relationships, resulting in unsuitable matches. So think carefully about what you really want from another person and what will make you happy before rushing in. And I do feel like that is very relevant, because not only... So this fearful manipulative behavior, it's not necessarily done on purpose, but done out of fear, right? I feel like you guys are not giving yourself enough credit for just how wonderful you are. And so you diminish yourself, you play small, and you're not giving yourself enough credit for... So you end up in these relationships or friendships that are not serving you in any way, shape, or form. And then you kind of shift to appease whoever is in your circle at the moment, and this is not your authentic self. And that might not be for all of you, but that is something that I strongly feel that is something that a handful of you need to know. Don't ever do anything that you truly do not want to do. That's where your metamorphosis starts, by saying no to things that you really don't want to do, that you're not in alignment with. So not only are you being manipulated, but you're manipulating yourself. So I deserve relationships that feel safe and are healthy. And there's this little thing here. So if anybody wants to take a screenshot of that and do that, you can. So, oh yeah, Selkie, the Selkie. Let's see what that little booger has to say. 37. So 37 might be significant for some of you. 37. Selkie. The Selkie asks, are you your own person? Shut up. Alright. You may have seen a Selkie and not realized it. When they are in the sea, they are indistinguishable from seals, but when they decide to come ashore, they shed their seal skins and take the form of a human. Once on land, Selkies have been said to seduce unsuspecting seafaring men with their preternatural beauty. On Shetland and Orkney, tales are told of sailors who find a shape-shifted Selkie naked on the shore and fall in love. They marry her and have children, and all is well until the Selkie cannot bear her longing for the sea anymore, so she puts her sealskin back on and abandons them. Once a year, her plaintive cries are heard as she returns in the form of a sorrowful seal to see her children. Some particularly mean-spirited husbands, realizing they have married a Selkie, hide her sealskin to prevent her returning to her animal form. The dual nature of a Selkie, who can be friendly and helpful to humans but also dangerous and vengeful, is instructive in shadow work. It teaches us about the difficulties that arise when we do not live an authentic life or adopt a false identity to please others. Shut up. Like the Selkie, we can be free when we rediscover our true form once more. I don't think I really need to elaborate on that. So, like the Selkie, I can only be free if I am true to myself. That's pretty fascinating. So, yeah. I almost want to end it there, but I'm not going to. We are going to look at some other cards here. Let's see here. So these are the cards I drew from the Cat Gods, Goddesses, Deities, and Demons Oracle. And we have Break Tradition, which I feel like means a few things here. And like I said at the beginning of the reading, I feel like there is a large group of people who are trying to get back to a way of existence that was more in tune and in rhythm with everything. So I think that this card is relevant to that. Breaking the traditions that we have come to know as a society, right? If they are not necessarily working for you, then that's okay. They don't have to be your traditions just because decades and decades and we've been doing the same things and been told to do the same things. But also I feel like this speaks to what the Selkie card was just saying, in that breaking the cycle of not being your authentic self and being in this energy of people pleasing and doing things to maybe draw in certain people, but yeah, it's not doing you any favors. So that's what I'm getting from that. Break tradition. Sacrifice for victory. I think I might want to read the insert for that. But then we have loyalty. And I feel like this is being loyal and true to who you are. And nobody else. Because here's the thing. When you're loyal and true to who you are, everything else will just fall in place. Everything else will just align. And I'm not saying this is easy. Because it does take work and it does take time. And you might experience imposter syndrome But just know, I think it's important to just sit with yourself and understand yourself and who it is that you truly are, and stop playing small and stop hiding who you really are, and being okay with the fact that some people aren't going to like that. Those aren't your people. And maybe that's what this card is about, the sacrifice for victory. There are some things you're going to have to sacrifice, right? There are certain ideas that you have about how things should be, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right at the end of the day. And so there's a sacrifice that needs to happen here. There's a sacrifice for your authentic truth, and that is going to bring victory. And we have the Six of Wands here, which is the card of victory in tarot. So there's a victorious, momentous moment happening here.